Yes, yes, people. It's your girl. I'm in London in the building. It's the Hear Me Out show on ABN Radio UK. I'm here with some of my teammates.
Chef Nia Bo.
And it's your boy Kofi Day. What's going on?
Hey, Dr.
Julius. This joke needs to end. Oh my goodness.
I don't think it's ever gonna end. Like,
Yeah.
it's always going to be like
It's
healthy banter. We're always going to discuss this.
It is unhealthy.
And it's Dr. Julius, drum roll.
Oh my goodness. Well, yes, it's your boy. It's your boy. What's up?
Mad. Yeah, so today it's going to be a very impactful day. Gonna have,
Interesting show, guys.
Yeah. I have some agony aunts. I have a guest today as well.
Yeah.
Following on from what we spoke about last week about abuse, we're going to speak more about it today and hopefully the following week as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to say a bit about our guest?
I mean, she's like a survivor. I say survivor of abuse.
Yeah.
So she's gonna give us like first-hand knowledge into exactly what she went through. But then for us, we just wanna encourage the young people like and give them like analysis of exactly how you can get out of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know if any of us have been through, but she has been through it, and so it's coming from like somebody a first-hand knowledge.
Yeah.
First-hand knowledge of it. So which is why we brought her onto the show. And she also has an organization that helps young people who have been abused and stuff like that.
Wow.
So she'll give her contact
Yeah.
and stuff. And she has a book as well.
Oh, cool.
Which is why we decided to bring her on the show. So a friend of mine gave me her book when I was going to Ghana, and I read it. I'm like, oh, this is good for young people, and would like to interview her. So once I go back, we were supposed to arrange that, and she's glad to come on the show. I mean, she's willing to show up, to speak. She's just willing to speak out about abuse, because I think in the African and Afro-Caribbean community, it's a topic that it's sat upon. Like, we usually don't talk about it, and let's make it a family matter. But for the victim, it's not a joke. So yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it and why she started to speak out now and all of that. We have a couple of questions for her. So hopefully at the end of our discussion, somebody out there who's going through it can speak out and get it stopped.
Definitely. And also, if you have any questions for our guest today, don't be shy and call us in at 0208 670 7300 or WhatsApp us or text us on 0788 7475 940. So right now the time is 10:14 a.m. in the morning. You're locked into Hear Me Out show on ABN Radio. Catch you guys soon.
For political reasons, basically, we're saying that if they open it, the credit goes to them. Because the credit will go to them, they don't want to open it. And we had a discussion here, and I stated here that the reason why they didn't want to open it was because they were saying there was no money to fund the clinic. Mm-hmm. There was no money to... Thank you, I'm in London. Mm-hmm. But there was no money to fund the clinic, which is why they were not opening it. But based on the reports, the government has announced that it's opened the University of Ghana Medical Center as hospitals overflow with critically ill patients. Mm-hmm. Also, the recent death of a 70-year-old man who was turned away by several hospitals over the lack of a bed sparked a national conversation about the nation's priorities and government officials and appointees. So this 70-year-old man died because he went to a couple of hospitals and they couldn't admit him because there were no beds. And so it sparked like a nationwide discussion, and apparently a lot of the hospitals are overburdened with a lot of patients. So if you have a medical center that's there, why don't you open it? Yeah. And so because of all this public outcry, and I know it's also because the previous government has been putting pressure on them. Yeah. So which is actually a good thing that they actually bother out. They're opening it. But we also stated here that the government said they didn't want to open it because they didn't have money to fund it. They wanted to do it the right way. And that.
Well, what is the right way?
The right way is they wanted it to be like to open and be able to run for a long time. Sometimes Ghana would open a facility and in a couple of months it's run down and stuff like that. So they wanted to do it the right way. They wanted to ensure that they had the money to be able to run the clinic before they open it. And that can be seen here because the UGMC, the government official actually said that they're not going to take all cases. They're just going to take referral outpatient department cases. And he indicated and further narrow the focus to specialist services.
What's an example of that type of case?
Yeah, so special service in three departments, which is the dermatology, ophthalmology, and ear, nose, and throat. So as we said, you know how in Ghana they will do like a big opening, and you get there and it's not a grand opening, it's not really what it is. So he's been like, I think one of the good things is being very real with the people and saying we're going to open, but we're not going to take all cases. It's just referral cases and specialist specialist cases, and even talk about the number of staff available. As doesn't mean like a specific number of workers. So then the people understand that we are opening, but it's like a gradual process.
Yeah.
But however, indicated that they've got like a funding of basically a loan to be able to finish the other facilities. Like it's a big unit which is supposed to make like a statement in the whole of Africa. So I mean, our points in the previous discussion have been justified here by him saying that they actually wanted to do the right thing, which is what we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and also in terms of the size of staff that they're coming with, it's just going to be a few people. So that's what's trending in Ghana at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that though. Even as a graduate. Oh, hold on. Shout out to
Amazing Grace.
Shout out to my homies.
Shout out to the homies.
Welcome in the building.
People in Peckham need to get their lives and their acts together.
Wow. Disclaimer, anything that Amazing Grace says about Peckham is our own opinion.
Yes, it's my opinion. Get your act together. Get a life.
Wow, mad. But yeah, go on. You were going to say something about the clinic. Were you? No? That's what goes to the point on the spot. Cool, but yeah, honestly, that sounds great. Even though they're starting gradually, but it's like those type of stuff.
But it's still open.
Yeah.
So July 18th, so that's another claim
Congrats to them.
Yeah, it's another claim that's gonna
They're developing little by little. We're
gonna
getting.
be beneficial to the Ghanaian people. So it's good. I mean, I brought this topic up because we actually discussed it a couple of weeks ago, and the points that we stated here are things that have been justified in the statement. So,
look at God.
Yeah, we have some smart people in this room. I think.
Yeah. We should be in politics. I'm lying. I'm joking. It's not my field.
We're good. And I think it's also because we look at it from like out. We are not in the country, so we can look at it from being like from outside the box. Yeah. So we're being very objective and not temperamental because we are in the situation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then another trending topic in Africa is Ethiopia and Eritrea declare end of war.
Ooh.
Hey.
Yes.
Look at God.
God is just working miracles.
Yeah, I mean I was excited. And so the leaders of Ethiopia and Eritrea have signed a declaration saying that the state of war between the two countries is over. And a peace deal ending the 1998 to 2000 border conflict has never been fully implemented. So it's been like a deal was there, but it was never implemented. It was like it's there, but it's not there. It's not being implemented yet.
Just writing it down.
And there's been tension between the neighbors ever since. Wow. The countries have also agreed to re-establish trade and diplomatic ties. And now family members divided by the dispute are now able to telephone each other for the first time since the war.
Wow.
So if you have like a relative in Eritrea or Ethiopia, if an Eritrean have a relative in Ethiopia, you can call them.
So why weren't
so they'll cut the line?
Yeah.
No, I'm sure it would just not go through.
So like no one's allowed to call anybody.
Yeah. So the deal was there, but it was not being implemented. But now the two leaders, because have decided to implement that, so the people are happy. I mean, because you can have family. It's for me, being an African, it's good to see that something like that happens. Because I was saying it's funny how traveling from one African country to another is so expensive and so difficult. The border control system is just weird.
It is ridiculous. I was watching I was watching something and like crossing borders, even like for example Ghana and Togo are basically Togo is Ghana
basically.
But still crossing the border is just it's a hassle.
Like it's the biggest hassle. I'm like, wow, even coming to England, maybe being somebody from Ghana coming to England, I'm not sure they don't go through this much hassle because Ghana and Togo are honestly like you can walk there, you can drive. They're brothers. Togo at one point in time was a part of Ghana, so it's just like
history. Come on, Grace.
Yeah.
And also it's very expensive. You know, it's actually expensive to travel from one African country to another, as compared to going to like the US or coming to England. Because I remember one time my brother was trying to like book a flight to Gambia. Like what? It's like a very short flight. It was so expensive, and we just let's compare like a flight to the US, and it was like 2/3 cheaper. And it's from one African country to another African country. I'm like, what's happening here?
Wow.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's difficult to cross the border. It's more expensive to travel across Africa. Like I mean, we're like one people, and there's like this trade can happen. You can pick up culture from one African country to another.
So this is flights.
There's so much. Like flights is
because
expensive.
I feel like most African countries, I mean, there's some sort of similarity we have in one
There's
way
so
or
much you can pick up from each other.
So
I don't
much that I
understand
don't
why they're making it
understand.
difficult for us to travel.
Because honestly, the
across the
border
border.
traveling is ridiculous. I was watching a documentary. I was like,
It's
why
ridiculous.
are they traveling? I'm sure people that travel overseas to US, wherever Europe, they don't go through as much hassle as it is just to travel. And especially things like when they're bordering. I think it's the worst ones are the ones where they're bordering, because Ethiopia and Eritrea are very close to each other. Ghana and Togo, you
really
can
close.
walk or drive there.
I mean,
It's
to be fair, it's actually difficult to travel maybe as an African to like the US or the UK.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the
It's
border
not
control,
easy.
immigration, it's a bit of a
Donald
hassle,
Trump.
which makes sense. Like it's going from an African country to like Europe or the US. But it doesn't make sense if it's from one African country to another African country. Like I don't understand. We make it very easy for foreigners to come into our country.
Yeah.
But when it comes to another African coming to another African country, then they just want to. I don't know whether they think we're not going to bring anything beneficial, but
That
they actually
is
do.
so true.
It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, we
at all.
have like countries like China and like Korea just coming into Africa, and you know,
I mean,
I understand they want to help, but once they're helping us, you know, I scratch my back, you scratch my, what's that, whatever that saying is.
Yeah.
That's what basically happening in Africa.
That's what's supposed to happen, and I feel like Africans should look out for themselves. And it's not. I mean, this is progress in terms of the declaration of the end of war. This is progress, but then there's still more room for improvement. That's what I think. There's still more room for improvement.
I'm happy for them. Those two countries though, they can call
they can call each other, and you know, because I'm sure maybe families have lost like their family ties with their own family, so it's nice. It's really nice.
Just makes things easier.
Really
So big ups to Eritrea and Ethiopia.
Well done.
Guys, well done.
And I think this is an example. Sets an example.
Yeah, this is the pace.
Like for all other conflicts that are going on, that sometimes peace is just what needs to reign. And put aside all the differences.
All the differences. We're one people.
Yeah, so hopefully this sets an example for other countries that are in conflict and have similar issues like this going on, that as time goes, they'll also see the light and see it's unnecessary. Like after a while, just it's not needed.
Unless, as we say back in the day, unnecessary unless.
So that ends our trending topics across Africa.
Hey.
Thank you, Chef Nee.
Over to Grace. Trending topics across the world, global.
So trending topics global, and there are two main stories. So the first is the Thai boys.
Thai?
The boy.
Is it Thai or Thai?
Thai. I don't know Thai. Okay,
You're
it's Thai.
I'm a Latin. The most qualified person. Could you help us?
I'm not qualified. I'm not
Dr. Julius?
on here.
Okay,
Do you want to help us?
So I think it's Thailand.
Thai.
Okay,
I think it's Thai. We will say Thai foods.
Yeah, Thai
So
food. Yes, Thailand.
No, for real, you didn't understand. You didn't know how to pronounce.
No, I do, but I don't know. I know how to say Thailand. Don't worry.
I was concerned, girl.
I think it's funny how it's easy to say Thai food.
Yeah,
When
Thai
it comes
food.
to Thailand, we're like Thailand.
No, it's Thailand.
Thai.
It's not Thailand.
Thai.
Is it Thai food?
It's
Thai
Thailand.
Where did Thai come from, though? I'm
It's
confused.
Thai food.
It's Thai.
Thai.
Thai food.
I'm hearing Thai. Like,
No, it's Thailand.
I'm hearing you guys say Thai.
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 Wait,
It's
okay.
Thailand.
Whatever. Okay.
Thailand, yes, Thailand.
I'm hearing Thai.
So the 12 young boys who were stuck in the cave in Thailand have finally
They are out.
They are out with
They
their
are out. I
coach
was
making
so-
their team, and
I
it was
mean,
just it was such a risky
and a
rescue
long wait.
really
It was a long
a
wait.
long
mission.
way. It was a risky, because just as the last volunteer or Navy SEAL was coming out, that's when the pumps that they were using to pump the water failed, and so they were this close. Like if it took a minute later, it would have been a catastrophe. And even one Navy SEAL, unfortunately, he perished.
He lost his life,
He
yeah.
was. He was a Navy SEAL from Thailand, and he was actually in retirement, but because of this situation, he decided to go and help. And unfortunately, he lost his life when he was bringing oxygen to the boys.
He was trying to
bring oxygen, and unfortunately, he
to
lost
provide
his
oxygen
life.
to the
But
boys.
I think this situation has showed strength, resilience, and unity, because so many volunteers from around the world. You had Australia, you had Britain, you had America, you had Thailand, you had so many different people came together just to help these boys. And I think a big well done also goes to the boys, because their resilience and mental state, because they were already under there for 10 days before anybody even discovered them.
British,
And then also the difficulty of them, because this was a really risky operation, because they didn't know how to swim, and they're having to be taught. It didn't make much sense them being taught how to swim. So what they were actually so how the rescue happened is it started from Sunday. So they started bringing out the boys bit by bit on Sunday. So what they did was the boys were heavily sedated, so they were basically kind of knocked out, because they wanted to get rid of any fear and anxiety, because
You start to
Passengers.
panic.
I mean, because
Panic.
doing swimming
It's
is if you the worst thing you can do is to be afraid in water.
Yeah.
It's
The more you fight
literally-
the water, the more it fights with you.
Yeah.
You need to be sure. If you're not relaxed, you can't swim.
You can't
Yeah.
swim.
You need to
So
drown.
they had to sedate them because number one, they can't swim, and the cave and the water height and everything.
Yeah.
Too many
was-
things.
It was too much. So the
Too
boys were
many
sedated. They were put in stretchers, wrapped up in foil, and so they had one Navy SEAL in front of
Foil?
them.
It's a whole process.
No, it's
I
like
think
to keep them warm.
Oh, that foil. Oh,
yeah, not foil, not
cooking foil. I say, oh, wow.
not cooking foil. It's the foil. I think to keep them warm.
Yeah, I know what foil you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shiny stuff.
Yeah, so they wrapped them up in that. They gave them full face mask, and then so one diver had the oxygen with them, and another, and they were guiding them through
That's
like
so cool.
ropes and.
Oh, it's not full, but
Yeah, and just like the rescue. I mean, one of the Navy SEALs released a video, and you see obviously the boys are knocked out.
Yeah.
So and they've been carried along, and so many, and just the unity of all of
It
these.
shows great minds at work.
Yeah.
And
Honestly,
this is the benefit of all these countries coming together and applying
It
knowledge
was-
from different places to ensure
honestly, it's one of the most beautiful
was carried
things
out,
I've
yeah.
seen. Like there was many of them, and they were all helping to bring these boys out.
Wow.
And it was just a beautiful sight to behold.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy that all of the boys made it out. And it's very sad, unfortunately, that Navy SEAL passed away.
Yeah.
But you know, he gave his life up for a good cause because these boys are out, and I think that. They're forever indebted to him and his family, and he, you know, that man has become a hero because he came out of retirement. He could have been like, I'm retired, you know, whatever, but he came out of retirement and went to get those boys out. And like I said, those boys have, and their coach, you know, their coach did an amazing job. You know, he's actually a young coach, he's only 25, I believe. And he was the weakest out of all of them because he gave away all of his rations to them. Because when they went into the cave, they took like some snacks and things like that. So everything he had, he gave to the boys. So he was actually the weakest out of them all. Because, I mean, so many days gone without food, drink, anything. So, yeah, and...
It still shows, that's leadership. Like,
it's leadership. He gave everything to them.
Such an example.
Yeah, and also the boys just in such high spirits. They showed a video of them when they were in the hospital. And they were waving peace signs up, and they just look. They've lost a lot of weight, a lot of weight. They were given shots for rabies and tetanus, and but yeah, the doctors say that it's looking good, and they'll get back better. So I'm really happy that they made it out alive, and just I think this thing is really showing that when people come together, you know, because some countries might be having disputes, you know, but if you just put those things aside and you see that there's life here and you work towards that, it's beautiful. So I'm really happy that the boys, each and every single one of them, made it out safe. They're going to be reunited. They're actually in quarantine right now because of fear of any disease.
Just need to be sure.
Just need to be sure about that. But once they're out, you know, they can recuperate. I hope that their mental state, I hope they receive some sort of counselling or something. Because
I mean, once they're out, there's so many things that can be happening. I mean, for me, I would always say this is like a glimmer of hope. Like we live in a world that is like broken, and so a lot of difficult things that happen.
absolutely.
And some of these things, like then something happens, you're like, oh, there's still some hope.
There's still some hope that
You know,
it just shows the beauty in unity. That when we're divided, things, because if we were divided, they would have been like, no, all the Thailand SEALs, you do that, we're going to stay here. But it was actually British divers that actually discovered the boys, and they were actually at the helm of it, organising everything, because they're one of the most skilled divers in the world, and they kind of forefronted this entire mission operation. So it's beautiful, and yeah, like I said, I really do hope that the boys receive some sort of counselling and help, because that can really affect your mental state. Because had those divers not have found them, I mean, they'd been there 10 days prior, so already in those 10 days they might have been feeling like, wow, you know, nobody is going to discover us, like thinking that this is their end. And things like this truly do make me believe that God exists, because what are the odds that British divers, one of the most elite and experienced divers, will be somehow in a cave, you know, just diving, and they came across and they come across.
I also heard they're making a movie out of it as well.
That would be a good movie.
Because I saw, you know, that about 8 years ago when the Chilean miners got stuck, I didn't even know, but when I heard about this story, I went back to read about the Chilean miners, and apparently they even made a movie about that. So yeah, that would be an amazing story to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, so really well done to and they called the name of their team is called the 12 Wild Boars. So yeah, so they've got that strength and resilience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any more news for any more trending
So as we know, Mr. Donald Trump has
Dr.
descended.
I
Julius's
can only
favorite
speak about
guy.
him for 3 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. I can't-
Dr.
he's standing there.
Julius's favorite guy.
So he
It's
has
officially here.
appeared in, he has descended upon
Into
the United
UK.
Kingdom,
Yeah.
and it has caused a big uproar and ruckus. I mean, there was
The Trump baby,
protest.
and the Trump baby as well.
Yes.
The
I don't know what
the
you guys
blimp.
what do you guys think of the Trump baby? I think it's really very inappropriate. It's like it's
Wait, what's the Trump baby?
like
It's
a
a
blow up.
Oh, is it the blue? Oh, the doll.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I saw
blue.
that.
I mean, this is what I would say. Like if somebody's coming to your country and I'm African, I'm Ghanaian, we're very hospitable people. It doesn't matter how
But
like what we
I
have
don't
against
think
you,
Mr. Trump
we would
deserves
still
it.
welcome.
Can
He's still a human being,
No,
guys.
fair
I'm
enough.
just
I
saying.
understand that, but I don't think
That's the Christian version for you to say
yeah.
that
But the real, because even when he came to this
I'm
country, he's
Christian.
really he's really criticised us. How can you come to somebody's country and then come and insult them whilst you're in their country?
I mean, there's a lot of things that have come up.
Yeah,
with this.
he's
Like,
telling
it's
Theresa
very-
May
it's so
that
funny
she's doing a bad
Okay.
job
with
with
the Brexit, and there's a
Okay.
lot of things.
He's saying
But what
the
did you,
mayor
but
of
what did you guys
London.
expect? Like, this is Trump. Like, if you invite him to your country, like, you should be ready for.
No, but at
anything.
least if you're coming, be respectful. How can you come and
He's
and
being
insult us?
smart. He arrived and then went by helicopter, so he missed all the protests. And so, like he's a smart guy. Like
He's
he didn't see any
ridiculous.
protests because he went by helicopter, so he just went straight to his
Yeah.
destination. Even though it was a bit late, tardy. That's what they're saying.
I
so.
mean, it's just, but yeah, there was so many protests, people, different things, women, Black Lives. I saw one Black Lives Matter, like everything. Everyone was just protesting.
Right.
But hopefully something good will come out of it. And Ikea is going to Ghana in a couple of months. So.
Okay. Well, I guess that's the end of trend.
Ikea, aka Theresa May. I officially.
You gave her that
she's
Ghanaian
the-
name.
Oh, is she
Uh,
going to Ghana?
Yeah, she's going to Ghana. Hopefully she sorts out a lot of things. I bestow upon Ikea Theresa May.
Oh.
I'm Koswahema of
I'm
Ghana.
mute, Thank you very much, Grace, for giving us trending topics in Europe. It's now 10:35 a.m. in the morning. You're still locked into Hear Me Out show with the crew. We're back with you shortly. People, it's your girl Emma London, and you're still listening to the Hear Me Out show on ABN Radio UK. You're still with your crew, Chef Nee,
Yeah, bo.
Dr.
Yeah, bo.
Julius.
Yeah, but Dr. Julius is here.
That nickname needs to just go.
Oh,
okay,
you love it
It'll-
anyway.
It'll go.
Secretly.
It'll go.
It's alright.
Yeah, but guys, Amazing Grace is in the building somewhere, sorting things out.
Yeah, she's still in the building somewhere.
Yeah.
Delay. Anyway, we have a wonderful guest with us for today. Chef Nee, can you please introduce our wonderful guest, please?
I'll just repeat exactly what you said. We have a wonderful guest in the house right now. So if you're following like our social media pages, we put up a picture of a very beautiful, I'm saying African because she has braids on.
Yeah.
African woman
Yeah.
who's written an exciting book I read, and she's here with us. So try to introduce yourself. I think it's just right that you do it yourself.
Awesome.
Drum roll.
So, my name's Vanessa Richards.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
Hello.
Good
Yeah,
morning,
boy.
good
I think that
morning.
should be a statement that should stay. Anyway, Vanessa, go on.
Awesome. So, I'm Vanessa Richards. I'm the director of a company called Virtuous Voices. I've been running this organisation since 2017. Small background. My professional career, I treat cancer patients for a living. I'm a senior radiographer.
Wow.
And as I've said, I run the charity Virtuous Voices, where I work with lots of young people with the aim to educate, encourage and empower.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That was a mouthful, but that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
thank
She's doing a lot of things. So what you should know is, after reading your book, I was
Yeah.
pushing for us to have like it's a book for abuse for a month.
Yeah.
So you're the reason why
Yes.
this month for the Hear Me Out show is the
Exists.
month of abuse. We're talking about
Yeah.
abuse.
Yeah.
So to prepare for you coming on the show last week, we had like a psychologist come on, Daniel Kusi, who basically gave us like an idea, brief analysis of what abuse was in terms of abuse prevalent in the Afro-Caribbean community.
Yeah.
We just wanted like a professional to come in and set the pace for you. So the foundations have been laid properly.
Yeah.
So we're just hoping that you can build on. Basically, so this show is a voice for the young on ABN Radio UK. So everything that we talk about is to inspire like somebody young out there
That's
to do better or just achieve their dreams.
Yeah.
So we're happy that you are on the show with us this morning. So I'm just gonna go straight to asking you questions,
Awesome.
if that is okay.
Also, wait, let me drop in the telephone line. If you have any questions for our wonderful guest today, don't hesitate and call us in the studio on 0208 670 7300. You can call in anonymous. Don't worry about it. Everything is disclosed, and you have your answers to your questions with our lovely guest here today. So, Stephanie, you can go forward.
Yeah. So Vanessa, my first question to you is, why did you decide to speak out? Because there's a lot of young people out there who are going through who've been through similar things, are still going through what you've been through, and are not speaking out.
Yeah.
So why did you decide to speak out?
I think it's just my responsibility, really. But mainly, it was something you'll read in my book as well, that I was writing a diary, collecting a range of different things that was going on. And I realised if I formed all of these words together, I could create a book. And I also felt, I'm an auntie of a range of different kids. I've got loads of nieces and nephews. And I feel like I became really protective over them. And I felt like, is this normal? What I'm doing and how protective I'm being? And if that is the case, because my parents were foster carers as well. So we had lots of kids, and then I became really protective, and I was like, is this normal? And then if it is, or if it's not, then maybe if I can document this, I can help other people, because I felt like, due to what I'd been through, I became super, super duper protective over children. And I felt maybe if I can put these words out, then maybe we can kind of then be alert to that child who may be really intrinsic and really to themselves and doesn't want to talk. Or the complete opposite, where the child may be acting out in an extreme manner that you're thinking, wait, is something else going on? So I felt like maybe if I form these words together, it can then help people probably even potentially see things to prevent this from happening again to anyone else. So it was more of, I definitely wanted to help, I definitely wanted to inform, and I definitely felt as well in the same breath in me writing I had a release. So it was also helpful. So it was a range of different reasons to help and to spot the signs, and as well as to get healing in the same breath.
Okay, so guys, I feel like we need to clarify. So the topic of abuse today we are dealing with is sexual abuse, and Vanessa is a survivor of that. So our topic today, I think we're just saying survivor of, but we haven't necessarily said exactly what we're dealing with today. So today we're talking about sexual abuse, and Vanessa is like a survivor of that, and she's written a book about it, which I've read. I think is good. And we have a couple, we'll be giving out shows. So if you call us or text us or DM us on our social media pages, we should be able to give it out to you.
And on the topic of the giveaway, so we'll also be having it on our weekday shows as well. So we'll have a few copies. So if you listen to any of the weekday shows, we'll have a few copies out there. So if you call in, maybe ask you a few quick questions, and then you get given a book. Wow. So on the topic of that, I'd like to also ask you a question. Do you reckon that this incident altered your life in any way? The abuse you experienced, did it? I'm assuming that it would have altered your life in a certain way. But what was the impact that it had on you, and like especially with your day-to-day interactions, just your mental state, and just everything in general? How was that?
It's this question. I feel like even people, friends, family that have asked me this question, it's a weird one, because that's my normality. That's my normal. That's all I've ever known. So to say, how did it affect me? I don't know, because my analogy is this: that as a child, every Sunday you probably go to play football with your friends or whatever. My normality was every time I would go to that particular house, that would happen. That was my normal. Yes, I do think it did and has affected me with certain aspects of my life. I've got many friends that notice certain attributes and things that I do which are quite different or might seem weird. Oh no, I don't mind. So say for instance, I'm not really, say, touchy-feely, which I think is kind of, it makes sense. I'm not really keen on affection and stuff. It's something I'm trying to force now. So with my nephews and nieces, I always try and make sure I embrace them, I tell them I love them and stuff like that. So that's me trying to try and allow me to force this to be a normal thing rather than always being so, you know, I don't know, distant. I also feel a main issue I had, even it will be the smallest things, is just like growing up, I didn't like, and it, yet again, it's quite heavy, but you know, I was just saying in our community that sometimes what tends to happen is, you know, you've got your families come around and everyone's in the same bed. No, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'd rather sleep on the floor.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be put in a position where anything could happen. Because if it's my own cousin that's doing that, who are you? You're a family friend, or, you know.
Yeah.
So I then thought, you know what, let me not put myself in a position. I'd rather just be on the floor, have a bad back.
Yeah.
Because nothing's going to happen to me. And as I spoke about, we give God thanks 'cause I'm here today in a dress, but dresses, skirts, I didn't play with that. Oh my gosh, like the plague. Hated it.
Wow.
For obvious reasons, in the respect of when I did wear a skirt or I did wear a dress, it was easier access for him. So it could easily be done. However, if I was in like tight trousers or anything with a zipper or buttons, it will be a fast, and then I think he would just be like, oh no, I can't be bothered, I'm not going to trouble her today. But when I had the dress on or a skirt, it was easier for him to get access. Thus, you know, I then began to hate dresses and skirts. So that's another thing that came out from.
So there are signs. I mean, you've talked about like being by yourself. If your family together, you prefer to sleep on the floor, stuff like that. So there are signs that parents can identify sexual abuse with. I mean, from your personal experience, what are some of the things that you would say are signs that parents should look out for? It might not necessarily be them going through abuse, but it's something they need to like watch. What are some of the things, like signs that you would, from your personal experience to maybe inquire about?
I would say, like myself, I can only speak of what
from your personal
I
experience.
had done.
Yeah.
I was very reserved and very quiet. My parents, even to this day, my dad said I would have 10 of you. Because I didn't speak. My best friend was my thumb. As long as I had my thumb in my mouth, I was the best child in the world. I was quiet, I would sit in the corner, I didn't give no grief or anything like that. And I think when you've got children that can be very reserved and quiet, especially when they're in a situation where they've got lots of games and toys and other kids around, but they rather sit in the corner with their thumb, you know, it's kind of like, why is she not interacting? Why is she not playing? You know?
That's a sign that like maybe a parent could look out for.
They might just like to be by themselves, but definitely in my situation, I was definitely reserved and quiet. I didn't really speak, so that was definitely something that, for my own self, I was definitely quiet and reserved. I didn't like to interact with anyone.
So do you think that kind of masked it a bit with people, with maybe your parents being able to identify, because you were just naturally a quiet, reserved person? Do you think that made it a bit difficult for anybody around to maybe realise that, oh, something is wrong? Because maybe, for example, if somebody's a bit more of an extrovert, very much more out there, very playful kid, if maybe they begin to retreat and become more quiet, maybe a parent could be like,
they've
that's
gone
a bit
from one
different
extreme to
to
the
another. But because maybe you were much more...
I was younger when it happened, so, you know, I never know if I would have been that extrovert person, because it started from when I was about 7, so I don't even know if I had a personality beforehand. But, I was definitely reserved and quiet through and through. And another thing that I done as a kid definitely was kind of a telltale sign, but hey, I self-harmed as a kid. You know, like some kids will suck their thumb and play with their ears. I would literally suck my thumb and literally just dig my skin, to the point where now in life I still have these scars. I would literally just suck my thumb and dig my skin, but it was just like, oh, that's just what Vanessa does. She will suck her thumb and she will like to see herself bleed. Like that was what was said. So my other sisters would suck their thumb and play with their ears, mum would play with their belly button, and I would be digging my skin. Yeah, so that was definitely my thing that I experienced. And something that was quite difficult and hard, because I feel like some people would see me do it and wouldn't even realise I was doing it, but think, oh, she's just itching or something like that, because it's not your in-your-face self-harming with a knife, or, you know, you'd be like, oh, she's just having an itch. But then you'll look at my arm and you'll be like, wait, this all down her arm that she's got these like little scars and stuff. I remember my sister's wedding. I think I was 12 or 13, and they literally had to put makeup all up my
But
arm
you had to cover up the scars
because
and stuff, yeah.
it was so bad.
Wow.
So yeah.
But I mean, this is a weird question, but when you look at your scars now, what do you see?
Oh, to be honest, it's still, I feel as a person, a woman, you know, you do want to wear certain things, and it's kind of like I've done this to myself, but in the same breath, it's something to show that I have been through something, and we thank God I've got through it.
Yeah.
I'm no longer in that situation, but it's also sad in the same breath to know that I have had to go through that, because it's obviously sad. It's nothing you want to go through or anyone you love or care about to go through, but yeah.
So we'll come right back with Vanessa on the talk. Right now I'm going to take some of the news and get right back with the Hear Me Out show. Yeah, listen to Hear Me Out show, AVN Radio. Stay tuned and locked in for more. Yes, people, and we're back. It's your girl, Alma London. I'm here with a full crew, finally in the building.
Shout out to all the homies.
Thank you.
Yeah, boy.
So the Hear Me Out crew is here live and direct. It's now 11:03 a.m. in the morning. We're still with our guest Vanessa. Lovely Vanessa.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good.
We're still asking questions, and make sure you also call in as well if you ask any questions with Vanessa as well. The phone line is still open, so don't forget to call us on 0208 670 730. Wait, let me start again.
I'm a London.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay, call the studio on 0208 670 7300, and don't forget to message us or WhatsApp us on 0788 7475 940.
And also be reminded that we'll be giving away free copies of Vanessa's book, Darkness to Light. So make sure you call in, and also be available during the week as well. We'll have it on the weekday shows as well, so you can be getting copies of it. So be listening out during the week to all of our weekday shows, and also you have a chance to win a copy today.
Real. Okay, back to the questions with Vanessa.
So Stephanie, take it away.
Yeah, so to my next question, Vanessa. So in chapter 1, I was reading the book. There's something that stood out to me, which I want clarification on. And I just want to explain why I'm asking this question. And the reason I'm asking this question is because I feel like the young people out there who, I mean, touching you inappropriately is still abuse, but it hasn't got into the sexual abuse side of it. So you say in your book that apart from your cousin, Mr. Taxi driver, who did the same thing to you. And what I wanted clarification on was, initially you said that he started touching you inappropriately and you just lay there, and then it escalated to sexual abuse. I don't understand, why didn't you shout? Why didn't you say anything? And the reason why I'm saying this is because there's probably some young girl out there who a guy is touching her inappropriately and she's not saying anything, and that can lead to sexual abuse. Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you shout? Why didn't you?
I think with my cousin, definitely, I was told that if I was to say anything, I would get in trouble, and that I was wrong. And I think being a young person and not knowing what's right and what's wrong, I thought I was doing something that was wrong, and I didn't want to get in trouble because no kid wants to be in trouble. So with that being said, I thought, well, do you know what, I don't want to get in trouble. You know, I want to make sure I don't say anything to anyone because I don't want to get in trouble. No one wants to be punished. So I thought, no, I'm not going to say anything. So definitely with my cousin, it was our secret and I wasn't trying to tell anyone.
So this is what I'm getting. So for you, the abuse was happening because it's something that you were doing. That's the state of mind you were in. Like you feel like it was abusing you because of, I don't know, something that you were doing. So it was like your fault. Is that what you're saying?
No, I feel like he had his own issues, in all honesty, and he was doing what he was doing. But from the gate, he always told me that I weren't allowed to say anything, and it was our secret. And if I was to tell anyone, I would get in trouble. And as a youngster and him being older, obviously he knows better because he's older, and that's just that I was very naive. He's older than me, obviously he knows more than me. And on top of that, it's just I've just been told that. So and I know it might sound silly, I was never told that whole thing of no one shouldn't touch hair, no one is allowed to do this. So, you know, as much as that might be common sense now, it's just like...
Then it wasn't,
I'm sorry, can I just ask, how much older are we talking?
Well, I was definitely, when it initially started, I was 7. He was late teens.
Late teens. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know his exact age because we didn't have a relationship where we're talking.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So I just wanted to ask, sorry, you know, I'm a bit late to the party, you know, but because I've spoken firsthand with someone who opened up to me about them being abused from the age, I think, from 5 up until secondary school. And so I just wanted to know, one of the things that I asked her was, how did the other person get access to her? Now you're saying for you it was like a family friend, and you used to go there a lot, or they used to come around a lot?
No, so this was a family member.
Oh, it's a actual family member?
Yes.
Blood?
Yes.
Right. So is there a reason why he thought he could pry on you? That's what one of the things that I asked her, that why you? Because she had sisters and everything else similar age,
Same.
but they almost targeted her. And I was always trying to understand, why did he kind of pick on you? And she said one of the things that, you know, she always felt like it was her parents didn't like her.
Oh dear.
So her siblings didn't really, you know, talk much to her, and she generally feels like her mum hated her.
Right.
So she didn't have no relationship whatsoever with her mum. Did you have a relationship with your parents like that you could talk to on a level like, hey mum, dad, kind of thing? Or
I don't want to make it sound like I've got great parents. They're awesome parents. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it was just my problem. And remember, I've been told not to say anything. So it's not anything for me to say I can tell them. Obviously, later on in life, they now know. But at the time, I've been told I can't say anything. So it's not that I didn't want to, or I felt like I couldn't because we don't have a great relationship. It was more of, I've been told I can't say anything to them. In regards to your other question, yes, me too. I have a range of different sisters. If you read my book, he actually tried it with one of my other sisters. However, she was older. They were around the same age. And she, fortunately, was like, what are you doing? And spoke to my mum. And that got shut down. But I'm significantly younger than her. So I'm a baby. So then I'm thinking, oh, he ain't going to trouble her. She's a baby. I'm 7. However, he did, you know. So that's what happened there. And like I said, I was very reserved and very quiet. So of course he could get away with it because I don't speak. So, and he did.
So like, okay, as it stands now, have the person that I've been talking to, she hasn't confronted the person yet, because for a long time you have the idea of I'm a victim, it was my fault. She actually believes it was my fault. Have you kind of, I might be in a book, have you confronted him?
He's not around anymore.
not, yeah.
So that's
Well,
but this was one of my line of questions. I was going to ask you,
Yeah.
if he was alive now, what would you tell him? Would you say anything? I mean,
The thing is, I think we definitely met up later on in life. Not like that, but like a family, because it's a family member. So at a family event, and I froze. Absolutely
he still
froze.
has like an effect on you,
Yeah,
even after all those
Yeah.
years.
I froze. And I'm older. I've now got a voice. I can speak.
Come on, girl.
And I still froze.
Why?
I don't
Why
know.
did you think he froze?
Because I don't know if he still had that power.
Yeah, he took something from you.
And as much as I'm now big in the respect of, I've kind of formed into my, because obviously when I was 7 I was a lot smaller and compared to him, and I'm now, you know, I've got a bit of structure to me. I'm thinking, okay, I can, you know, hold my own. I still froze. I couldn't say anything. His family was like, do you remember so-and-so? And I was like, yeah, I do. Because I didn't even say anything to him. To the point where people were like, do you not remember? And I'm like, but obviously they don't know.
Oh, at that time
Just
you didn't
my
know when you met
immediate,
him.
no, my immediate, I'm not telling the whole world, but my mum knew. And I think that I only told my mum at that time. So, you know, other family, do you remember him? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to talk to him. So I completely froze. So no, I would probably just say why. But it's like, even in writing the book, it was such, like I said, it was such a healing process, and more things were being revealed to me that I couldn't even put in at the time. To the point where I literally had to get on a flight and go away because I needed time to just
Just
restart.
space. You need just space.
Honestly, where I found that I wasn't the only one. There was loads.
Yeah, you said in the book, like, I was reading the book, I was like, what?
There was a few other girls.
Yeah.
So I was just like, whoa. And then I think it was just like, what if I spoke up? You know? So, just why? And I honestly felt like he had his own issues. So, I would say as well to your friend, you know, it's not your fault, 100% it's not your fault, because they obviously have something going on with them that they feel that they can take that power away from you and take something that's not theirs. It's not her fault or his fault. Like, I feel that it's, they've got something wrong, because I don't see how you can look at a young child and think, I'm going to take that from them. They don't even know what's going on. So, especially from 5, man, that's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, when she tells the story, I'm not sure how he actually groomed her. Like, when you listen through it, sort of like step by step, to the point where she would, what do you call it, fourth base? The fourth base was sitting her down to watch, what's that movie called? Love and Basketball.
Oh.
So it's almost like he groomed her to the point where, she would show her something else, say, come and sit with me, or come and, play. And unfortunately, sorry, where are you from?
Country.
Yeah.
Jamaica.
You're Jamaica. In Ghana, we have this thing where sometimes family members come and live with you for a period.
Oh, yeah.
So it was...
Same thing.
Okay. So that's kind of how her one happened. So, like you see an older person in the house, come in my room and do this chore for me. So you innocently just go and, okay. So, come and eat with me, come in. So then you almost become comfortable in the presence in a safe way that he won't touch you. So then it moved to, dance for me. And like you're a kid, like play some song, you just be jamming, thinking, yeah, I'm just with my uncle's room. And then, what are you doing? Come, let me read a story. So like, he almost groomed her to the point where, even though it was confusing, she didn't know what was going on. And the worst part is, her parents were going through, for best choice of words, like they were having difficulties in the marriage. So they were always at loggerheads. So it was never even the time to go and tell Mum, I'm also going through some bits, I'm confused. It was like, there wasn't no time for that. So they almost saw it as escapism. Okay, in that case, I'm going to go and chill with uncle, kind of thing. And then through that, she started being like, okay, is this normal? She was so scared. She tells a story about how even when she got her, your first cycle, or you start bleeding, like, her mom was like, I literally just beat her up. Why did you kind of mess up yourself? So it was that kind of relationship where you were always scared to go towards your parent. And that's why I was asking, like, was it kind of the same for you? Because most kids, without even knowing, they'll be like, hey, Mum, guess what? Uncle just followed me. It was really, weird, but I told him not to do to the left one. Like, at least you say innocent about what? He did what? But in this case, he groomed her. Even to the point where he taught her how to walk after, so that no one, like, it was proper. And I was like, wow, that's evil. And it's funny you say that this person now know more. Because he actually also now, not that he know more, but he's not quite where he should be. It's almost like payback. And it's like it's really, and see now, she's so closed about it that if I ever told you guys who it was, you probably wouldn't believe it. Like, you would not think it.
Let's keep her anonymous, fam.
Yeah, of course I'm going to keep her anonymous. Jessica.
Yeah.
I'm anonymous. No, but and I'm just like, when I first heard the story, the first thing was like, I'm fuming. Do you want me to get him for you?
Everyone does that.
Pay me, and I'll just deal with the matter, whatever. And she's like, no, let bygones be bygones. It's like almost when she talks about it, it brings back memories. So you get to the point, okay, fine, let's not talk about it anymore, because she's almost sworn to herself that no one will ever know. I literally forced her upon it. I did tell your mum at least, because you can't just let this guy go scot-free and live in his best life. Like, it was very serious. So I'm actually glad that you actually had to not even just tell someone, but actually write a book.
I mean, I was going to ask, like, from what you said, you kept saying it's not his fault. So I was going to ask you, like, it seems like you've forgiven him.
Yeah.
How did you do that? Like, I mean, I wouldn't forgive him. Even if it was my sister, I wouldn't forgive him.
I hate you.
I don't know why you are.
I
How did you do that?
I think, as you know, if you've read the book, there's a chapter about a place which I adore called LL Ministries. Oh my gosh, that place is so amazing. I went there and, you know, it's a beautiful place where you can literally go there and speak to people and you can just say what's on your mind and it's like no judgment. You could, okay, I wouldn't go as far as saying you killed someone, but like, you can literally tell them and they'll help you, they'll speak to you, they'll pray with you through it, they'll counsel you, they'll show you scriptures and it will literally help you. And when I went there, I told them what had happened to me and a range of different things that I felt happened due to what had happened. And I literally had to go through every single person. Do you know they didn't even speak about him? They made me forgive my mum. They made me forgive my dad, my siblings, everyone that potentially, the house, I had to forgive the house where it had happened, the room. I had to forgive the area. I had to let go of all of it. And I had to pray out every single one of those things and give it back and let it go. And then they were like, then we can move on to deal with him. And then it was like in our speaking to it and then even just looking at it now as an adult and someone that's now, you know, open about what's happened because I was in denial. When I say I was in denial, I was like, that didn't happen to me. It honestly didn't happen to me. It may have seemed like it, but I don't think that was what happened. And it wasn't until later on in life I was like, did I actually experience it?
I think you're imagining things.
Yeah.
No, it's like I didn't think that's what had happened.
Yeah.
It wasn't until you read things or as you get older when you realise, wait, that's what happened to me too. So did that happen? You know, it's still hard for me to even say the word, but like that's exactly what happened to me. What I just saw in that film or in that book I just read. So it was quite difficult for me to even understand. But then when I really looked at it, I was just like, he cannot be well. And I had to pray for his healing. Because there's no way you in your right mind could do that to a child. Something can't be right. So I honestly had to pray for his healing, that he could get help and guidance, that he can be freed from for whatever it is that he's going through. Because it's not normal. You can't do that to a child. You have to be ill.
So the organization basically forced you to empty yourself out of all the things that happened to you so you could fill out the good things.
This is it.
And so it's like certain foundations were laid that were forced upon you in terms of the things that you went through. So it's necessary for them to break those foundations and get rid of it. And it's like a clean piece of land. And then you build things that you would want to happen in your life. So that's exactly what they did for you.
Yeah, I think what their analogy is a house, and if you removed everything from that room, you can't just have an empty room.
Yes.
You need to fill it up with stuff. So you've gotten rid of all the rubbish that's in there and all the mess, but now you want nice stuff in there. So we've gotten rid of the anger, we've gotten rid of the pain, we've gotten rid of all of the anger that you've had inside. We need to now fill that up with love and joy and happiness. And so it was a building ground. So what do you want to do now? Let's speak that into being. Let's make that happen. Yeah. So LL Ministries is a great place. Long and short.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask a question.
Yeah.
So you said that the molesters are no longer here. So I have two questions. When you found out that he's no longer alive or no longer here, what was that feeling like? And if you had a chance to ever speak to him before maybe he passed on, what would you have said?
I think, it was just the why. Why? And if he knows what effect it had on me, and, you know, because it's just like the simplest things of even what I wear, I can be cautious because of what I've done to my skin. And even around my friends, I feel so sorry for them. I had a friend that he'd always wanted to come and visit me at uni. He's a male. And I'm like, who else is coming? Because he can't come by himself. Because if my cousin can do that to me, you're just a friend, you know. So I'd always be like, oh, well, who else is coming? And he would just think, oh, I just wanted to make a nice outing. No, I wanted to protect myself. So if there's more people there, then there's no way anything could potentially happen. So it's like knowing the effect it then had on me afterwards. Sorry, what was the other question?
And I said, when you first found out he had passed on, what was that feeling like? How did you feel?
I was a mess.
Really? You're not happy?
I was a mess. I was crying. Yeah.
Why?
I was crying. I was angry because I didn't have the opportunity to speak to him. And sorry to get deep, but there was obviously a soul tie there. We had a connection. And it's like, I was upset that he'd gone, and it was weird. As much as I'd not seen him for years or spoken to him,
the still connection.
It really affected me. And I think I will never forget this. My mum told me my aunt was coming to stay with us, and she was like, oh, and by the way, so-and-so passed. Like, not on a casual, but just she let me know. And
at that time, did she know?
Yeah, she knew.
Okay.
So I was crying and I was a mess, and she came to my room. She's like, it's fine, Auntie can stay in a spare room. She doesn't have to stay in your room. And I'm like, it's not about Auntie coming. Like, it's not about that at all. It's like, he's gone. Like, he's actually gone. And I haven't had the chance to speak to him. I don't know why. It was a range of different emotions going on. And it was painful. It was really painful. And I was still writing in a journal at this point. And I will never forget, it was so raw, my emotions that I wrote down. I think I speak about it initially in my book. And, I give God thanks because there was a reason, because everything I wrote in my original book, I lost, as you probably read as well. And God knows why, because it was so raw. It was definitely raw, but obviously looking at it retrospectively, obviously now I'm in a much better place, and obviously this is how the book was supposed to be written, so it is what it is now.
So, honestly, I just wanted to say thank you for coming on the show, giving us this really amazing insight. We've got a couple minutes left with you. I wanted to ask, where do you think it starts to kind of stop things like this from happening? Do you think it starts with educating young boys on what is acceptable and what is not? Or do you think it's a wider system, a wider cultural systematic thing that needs to change? Where do you think it begins?
I think it's everything. I generally feel we need to tell our young people, both boys and girls, that our bodies are ours and that we shouldn't be sharing it with anyone. And if anyone does do anything that is wrong like that, you need to raise your hand. Even if it's just one person you tell, that's more than enough. Because if you've told your cousin or your friends or whoever it may be, then something can be done to prevent it from reoccurring, or even escalating to a full-fledged rape. So we need to make sure that our young people know, or even us just being firm and knowing we have the power. You don't have to be a victim. Please speak out. Because I have such freedom, people don't understand. When I wrote this book, the healing I got from it was crazy, just by me saying, this has happened. The release I got was crazy. So you need to speak up. You have so much power. We have so much power just by talking. I don't want to go into, because I know some people say it's how you probably present yourself, but be careful. Be very careful, because you don't know what kind of feelings you're building up in someone. So you have to be mindful. I was talking to my friend Chris a moment ago about someone who went into prison ministry, and she had a low dress on, and as she was praying for the person and she was getting into it, her breast was jiggling. And the prisoner then actually got her into a corner to the point where guards had literally had to take this guy off of the girl.
Wow.
So,
Temptation like that.
Goodness.
So,
You don't know what the person's
That's
mind
quick.
is.
because it's people, that's what I'm
Protect
saying.
yourself,
People's frame of mind, and that's why I say I think he's not well, because there's no way you can do certain things you're not well, they can't be well. So we need to just be mindful of other people as well. Just be careful, protect yourself, cover yourself.
Oh, okay, I think you said it. So graders should cover themselves, basically.
No, I'm just saying protect yourself in the mind of, you don't know what the other person's thinking or feeling. So just be mindful. You don't know what image you're putting out there, because their mindset is not probably the same. My mindset compared to yours could be completely different. So you need to be careful of the image you're putting out there, because someone could say, oh, well, that what they're trying to say to me by the way they're presenting themselves is da-da-da-da-da, when it's not that.
So where do you think the line is between you being free to look however you want to look?
You should be free to wear whatever
But
you
you should
want,
be
but
smart as well.
unfortunately, some people, like I said, it's people's frame of mind. They can just read it as another way. So
So you still live in a world where people are messed up. So
Yeah,
as much as you want to be
definitely.
free, you still need to be smart.
Yeah.
I mean, before Kofi came in, I wanted to ask you, like, out of all his victims, were you the first one to speak out?
I am not too sure. It wasn't until he passed, and he
Until he
actually had
passed.
a closed funeral. Like, no one, it was literally a handful of people, less than 5 maybe, that went attended, because a lot of people had come forward at this point. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm the first one. I don't know the other people at all. I just know that I was told I definitely wasn't the only one. There was a range of other little girls as well that had gone through the same thing, which is quite sad.
Okay. I mean, you said in chapter 2 that you have to remind yourself daily that you shouldn't prioritize people over yourself in a way that allows them to feel better than you. How are you doing that daily?
It's a difficult thing because it's like self-taught. I think like even when we just came off our first break, I have to make sure my friend Chris is alright, because I know that some of the things that I've gone through, it can weigh heavy on people. Yeah.
It does, actually.
And so I'm very mindful of that. But in life in general, as I've said, I treat cancer patients for a living. That's my job. So I've got this caring nature. Unfortunately, so I always have this thing of, are you okay? Do you need anything? Da-da-da-da. But I also need to remind myself I need to be okay to look after these people or to look after my mentees or whatever. So it's probably just really visiting a situation, being like, am I okay? Can I go through this? Can I do that? Am I capable? Because I can try and help the whole world, but if I'm not in the right frame of mind, or if I'm not of good physical health, or, then I'm no good to anyone.
I mean, the reason why I pointed out this question was I was reading a book, I forgot who wrote it, and it was talking about how, like, some people find it difficult saying no. So they'll say yes to everything, and it gets to a point where they have so many obligations, and then they start, like, messing up. And he was saying that it's more respectful to say no than to say yes and not do it. I would appreciate it if you told me you couldn't do it, as compared to you saying you would and then you wouldn't turn up. So then I was like, that's good, because I have a lot of young people out there who want to please everyone. And so then they'll say, oh yes, I'll do it. And it gets to a point where it gets too much for them and they start messing up. Which I wanted to ask you, like, so how do you prioritize yourself? And I mean, as you said, it's basically just stopping and asking, am I okay? Is this not beneficial to me, but how is it going to affect me as a person? Is this something I can do? Is it way beyond my means? Because I know in the book you talk about how you gave out your money so much, I think you were in debt. And I'm like, where does this stop? Where does it stop?
I give God thanks. I thank God for that year. It was a terrible year. I kept on giving till I had an explosion. But I feel through me not being able to give anymore, I had to start saying, I was forced to say no. So, Vanessa, can you do this? And I'm like, I actually can't.
The truth is, you really can't do it.
I can't. Like, and it was sad.
So it took God to intervene to let you know that you need to stop this.
This is it. So, and then I got used to being put in a position where I actually had to say no, and then knowing actually, no, I'm not in the right frame of mind, or no, I'm not capable of doing that. But it's unfortunately a learned behaviour, so it's something, like I said, where I have to force myself to be like, I need to hug the kids so that they know what love is. So it's the same thing where I have to be like, Vanessa, no, you have to say no at some point. You can't keep saying yes. Even like last week, my niece has had a prom and she's like, Auntie, can you buy me a dress? Oh yeah, I'm not in a position to get her a dress, but I've got her a dress. So it's like, it's very expensive.
So learn behaviour is good. Like,
yes, I try and teach myself 100%. I have to remind myself, Vanessa, you can say no. And they will, like, especially with my family, they will still love me if I am unable to do what it is that they require of me. And at work as well is something definitely, as you've read, I was off because of a back injury because I kept on saying yes, and then it physically had a strain on my life.
Like, Vanessa, say no. Just say no. You have a back problem. I was thinking because but I know a lot of people who actually find it difficult saying no. And so, but then it's something that you can learn to do based on what you're saying.
You have to just look at the situation before you can actually just say, do you know what? Let me get back to you.
Wow.
Even if it's a matter of you really thinking about it beforehand. How is this going to affect me emotionally, psychologically, physically? Can I do it? And if you can do it, then all by means say yes, do it. But if you feel you can't, then you have to be honest with yourself and be like, do you know what, I would love to, but on this occasion, I can't.
That is powerful.
And your friends and your family can only respect you at that point.
Love you would understand.
Right.
And just
just some closing remarks. Thank you. Firstly, well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Honestly, thank you for having me.
Your event.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
you
she
have-
has an event coming up. So if you can just tell us about your event, I'll put it up on the social media page as well, so you guys can know.
Awesome. So Virtuous Voices is a fun a charity. So we're having a fundraiser. We had one in December. It was awesome. We had a live band. We had a range of different acts from Michelle John, who was the finalist in The Voice. We had a lovely act by the name of Cav, awesome artist as well. A range of different spoken word, live band, 3-course meal. It was a black tie event, sold out completely, stunning. So pressure. A lot of people are like, when are you going to do another one? That was December. So we're doing one August the 5th. It's a Sunday. It's going to be another live band. We're going to have Michelle John again because she's so amazing and she loves the organisation. We've also got Cav again, a range of different acts. Live band, live music. It's going to be fun. It's a summer event, so obviously come out in your best summer attire. You can get the tickets on Eventbrite. Just put virtuousvoices.eventbrite and it should be the first one that comes up, which is the Summer Jam event. What I'll do as well, I'll give 2 tickets to be given away. Guys, we're doing giveaways today.
Giveaway!
We're doing giveaways,
We like
guys.
free.
And tell us a bit about Virtuous Voices. Like, just give us a brief, analysis of Virtuous Voices.
So, Virtuous Voices, long and short, is an organisation that I made that I felt I was encouraged to do, which I speak about in the book as well, where there was a young girl where I saw she was going down the wrong path. I wanted to intervene, but I felt like I wasn't in the right position. I haven't got my career as I want it. I'm, I don't know, quote unquote, not stable in life, you know. So I didn't help her out because I felt I couldn't. And unfortunately, I don't want to go into too much because it will be very evident who I'm speaking about, but her life kind of just went a bit of a shambles. And I was like, if I stepped in? Then I was like, I have to do something. I have to. And then I just decided, you know what? This was in my time of not saying no. I had the opportunity where it was literally just, I was in a season of a loneliness. So it was just me and God. And he was like, start your business. You've got the time. You're not in work. You haven't got nothing to do. You've got nowhere to go. Let's start planning. So I made the organisation, and the whole aim is to educate, encourage and empower young people.
Wow, love that.
So I've been going into schools, colleges, community centres. We've now gone international. I was out in Jamaica in May. We're speaking with the Jamaica High Commission as well, going out there. It was awesome speaking to the young people. It is everywhere. We need to encourage all of our young people because I feel a lot of them feeling like they're unable to do it. It's only the people that they see in the limelight. So it's just encouraging our young people to help them out in day-to-day activities and in life, because I think we all need a bit of encouragement and empowerment, and just counselling as well in general. I think it's good to speak. That was my problem. I didn't. So I felt in me speaking to others and talking to others, they then felt a load, that freeness of I've just let it go. And I wanted to give that to the young people. So that's Virtuous Voices, the long and short.
I want to give that a round of applause. That's
That's amazing.
Well done, Vanessa.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And where can we find you on social media? Just as a closing remark.
So on Insta, Virtuous Voices is virtuous.voices, Snapchat is Virtuous Voices, Twitter is Virtuous Voices. So Insta's the only one, virtuous.voices. Everything else is just Virtuous Voices. Please follow us. There's got a range of different things going on. We really want to keep everyone involved and active, and so you can find out what's the most up-to-date things. We have lots of activities quite regularly. We just have the main fundraisers that come probably every 6 months or so, but we have activities in between.
Great stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for
you.
coming on the show.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Well, the time now is 11:39 a.m. in the morning. You're still locked in the Hear Me Out show with the crew on ABM Radio, so stay locked in, stay tuned. Come on, it's the Girl I'm a London, the Hear Me Out show on ABM Radio UK. It's now 11:50. We've got the last few minutes left.
Happy birthday to you.
There was a surprise cake for
Happy birthday to you.
You will see the smile.
Happy birthday. Hey. Happy birthday. If there's any fires and we don't make it. Shout out to the homie. Are you capturing this? She's crying. You're so mean. You're so mean.
And also Hear Me Out show If you guys can hear us out loud shouting.
This is from us.
So the family nigga. Sorry, for the family.
We have a bit of knife.
Yeah.
You need to cut
Oh
this.
my
You have to
god,
make a wish and cut it.
guys!
Just don't ruin it, yeah.
I think it's heavy. Is it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Oh, happy
Make a wish first then. You didn't get to blow. Like, okay.
It's sparkling, don't blow. You can open the door. Open the door, please. Don't open the door. You can forget.
Thank you.
What is it? Fine, I'm gonna go.
Yes.
Oh my days, guys! Thank you. I did not
Happy
expect
birthday.
this.
I never expected it.
I didn't. I honestly never expected it.
She's just like, I'm taking my selfie.
Live on Haitian
I didn't get taken
Wow.
myself.
Thank you all so much. I have to
no.
say that my radio family, honestly, I love each and every single one of you from the bottom of my heart, and to give me this opportunity to be here every day, every Saturday, honestly, being at uni, all of you, like, I really appreciate each and every single one of you. I love you loads. Thank you.
Everyone, catch the videos on Instagram.
Yep.
Her crying like a baby, even though she's 21.
She was surprised. She looked scared though.
When-
Yeah, because I was like,
What's that?
You remember that Vine? 21?
Yeah.
Where's my phone, Jess? Give it to me.
Woo! Happy
Let's have
birthday!
the cake before she takes her picture.
Okay, so
No,
the
let
time now is
me-
11:52 a.m. in the morning. We just gave out a surprise cake to
I
Grace,
was not
amazing Grace.
expecting
Shout out to my homies on the
Yeah.
HMO show on ABM Radio UK.
Did you take
Yeah.
photos?
So if you like to have a slice, come here. Call the studio. We'll deliver it. 0208 670 7300. Just pay us £10 delivery fee. I'll bring it myself. Amen.
Amen. So before we end up the show, we're gonna do a quick one of your dilemmas that you have sent in our email. Don't forget, you can also email us on not HMO show. So hearmeoutshow@gmail.com to give us your dilemmas, any questions or issues you have. Kindly send it to our email, and we definitely will read it out in our show and give you our side of advice. So here's the first one we have got for our emails. Hi, I love the banter on the show. I just want to mention that for my dilemma, but yeah, I just moved into a new job. I found out I'm the only black girl on my floor, sorry about it, and there's another black girl that works across me. Now at lunchtime we actually go at the same time, and I secretly think she plans it. Anyways, she comes up very flirtatious, and I don't want to date anyone in the company, but she often brings up her boyfriend, but ends up saying she's open-minded to meeting new people. I just want to remain friends with the girl, but how can I approach this conversation of just wanting to be colleagues and nothing more? I don't want to be awkward in office either. Many thanks, Calvin. Shout out to you, Calvin.
So Calvin is a painting, basically.
Basically.
So he's a painting that has met another painting at work, and he doesn't know what to do when the painting approaches him.
Yeah, just want to be like.
Nee,
more
what
than
would you
friends.
do? I want to ask Nee first.
You just like
of
this
all.
new job.
Why
so
are you
Calvin.
putting me on this?
No. So you've gone to a job, you're the only black guy there, there's another black girl there, and she somehow takes her lunch the same time that you does, and she talks to her boyfriend but claims she's open to other ideas. What would you do, Nee?
I would just tell her, I hope you guys sort out things with your boyfriend. I hope you sort out things
So
with
you
your
talk to
boyfriend.
her more about her issues?
About her boyfriend.
You would?
Yeah.
So you'd be that person at work that's always talking about
Isn't
someone
that
else's
friend zoning her? So
No, because that means you're encouraging her to talk to you more. Because you know that apparently that's what girls do. They'll be telling you all about her boyfriend,
We
how
have
this or
literally
whatever.
like 2 minutes just to give our opinion, so
No, just stop.
you're running over right now.
Okay, sorry. Alright, Nee, what would you do?
I've said it about I don't know. I just wouldn't care. I'll be like, okay, good. I hope. I'm so sorry. I just wouldn't care. Like it's like okay, yeah.
But what if you find her
I said
attractive?
fully, no, I'm not on it.
Because that's what it is. He's saying, I do not want to go out with anyone in the company. Because if it wasn't an issue, he wouldn't make a big deal out of it. So you find her attractive.
What would I do?
But your problem is that you work together. I think that's what's the issue.
I know. I think
Yeah.
Maybe you just need to be nice because you work together, but that's it. Like, you wouldn't encourage her to come to you with her problems.
Yeah.
So you just palm her off.
Yeah.
Okay, Amazing Grace, what's your opinion on the situation?
As the black girl.
Yeah.
If it was a black guy who was doing that to you, talking to you about his girlfriend, what would you do? Yeah, I don't care.
But you found him attractive though.
I found the guy that's telling me attractive.
Like, how can you approach the guy telling him, I don't want that more, like just being colleagues, I don't feel comfortable?
I think just out. I don't know. That's a tough. I think just come out and say like, I just want to be your colleague. I don't want anything.
But you find him attractive.
It's a ratting kit anyway. Vanessa,
No,
what's
but
your
if-
opinion on the situation?
I think, as Calvin already stated, he's not really interested in being with someone at work. So it's probably even just making that clear, just saying that, but still potentially just building a friendship because you never know.
just be
you
nice,
Could get a
but
solid
that's
friendship
it.
out
So
of
you
that
basically
person.
tell him that quit your job and now I'll think about it.
No.
Dr. Julius, you got anything to say?
Nope.
Wow. Okay, so we only have time to say one of the dilemmas you sent in, because getting to the end of our show, the HMO show on ABN Radio. So just wrap it up with a summary of the show. Chef News had to talk about the summary of the show. What's happened?
Maybe we talked about trending
spot.
topics in Africa,
Yep.
which was the opening of the health center.
Yeah.
The University of Ghana Health Center in Ghana. We also talked about Ethiopia and Eritrea declaring end of war.
Yeah.
That was trending topics in Africa,
Yeah.
and then when we came to trending topics across the globe, Trump is in the UK.
Yeah,
There's been a lot of issues
Sit down.
here and there, but he's here, and also the Thai boys in the cave are finally out of the cave. We also had
Thank God.
Vanessa Richards talking to us about her book Darkness to Light. She gave us insight.
I've got
first
free
hand
copies to give away.
into sexual abuse, and she also gave us free copies of her book Darkness to Light, which you can call in throughout the week to win. And also she gave us an idea into her event. Yes, she talked about her event, which she's giving 2 free tickets as well. Why are you guys laughing? Did I burp? I
That's within the mic picks up.
I know. I was like, oh wait, did I just burp somewhere? But anyways,
And also shout out, big congratulations to Vanessa. Woo! We just
oh
found out
no,
that,
my God.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? No.
Hold tight, my guy. Man like Chris.
Back off.
Man like Chris.
Thank you guys for listening.
Bye, everybody.
So follow our social media pages. Hear Me Out Show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And then you have like more info into Vanessa's events and stuff like that. Please follow us.
Yeah, for real.
Make sure you follow, and all her details will be on our Instagram page as well. So
Yep.
don't forget to
Thanks
follow us on
for
HMO
listening.
Show on Instagram and also on Twitter, the same name. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. Have a lovely weekend.
Also,
and enjoy.
very quickly. So it was Grace's first birthday.
Yeah.
So to my allergy that keeps listening, she's legal now. She's 21. All you gotta do, call me on the number. Yeah. All I'm saying is I want one house and one diggy entity. Yeah. And I'll open doors for your allergy. You know who you are. My listener.
Are you selling it out on the show?
She said she wanted to finish uni, so that after uni, then she'll consider. So my allergy.
Julius is just one house. He's like, NK. Oh my God.
If I get one house in Kensington, I'm fine. I'm cool. So, yeah. So give me a shout out, man. Have a good weekend, allergy. I know you've been listening and that. So yeah, for real. Have a good weekend, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for
Thanks for
listening.
listening.
Take care.